Hey girl, hey. My name is Tina Bailey and I am a life strategy coach. And what I do is I help you and me deal with all the things in life that keep us as women held back. And you have entered the SheShed. I'm excited to have you here. If you're ready, come on, let's go. Well, hey girl, hey, welcome to the SheShed. I am super excited that you are here with us tonight. I'm excited to have Dr. She in the room with me. And but before we get started, just let me tell you exactly what's going on here. So, SheShed is a part of the Boss Up podcast, and the Boss Up podcast is a part of the Boss Up program. And that is where we truly help women to see themselves as the boss, as bold, optimistic, strategic, and self reliant. I need you to really show up in your own life because when you are the CEO of your life, you make better choices. You do better things. You are more intentional on how you live. And you also get an opportunity to promote, demote, and terminate anything that is no longer serving your life. And that is where exactly you need to be. You need to know that you don't have to have everybody in your on your front row. Let them go into the balcony. They need to look at you, but they don't need to interrupt you. And that is what we do in the Boss Up program. I teach you how to be in charge of your life and stop playing small. But tonight, what we're going to do in the SheShed is we are talking to Dr. She, and her name is Sherell Edwards. She is a holistic practitioner, and y'all, we're going to figure out what that is because your girl don't really know, and I want to know. And she also manages 3 Florida-based LLCs. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how in the world she have time to do all that. But we're going to ask about it because one of the things we're talking about in the SheShed tonight is what's in your cup. And clearly, Dr. She has a lot of stuff in her cup, and we're going to find out what it is. So if you would give me a moment to bring her on, we're going to get this ball rolling. Dr. She is in the house. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Miss Tina. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. I hope you are.
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So as I stated, I want to know, I want you to introduce yourself and of course let us know what a holistic practitioner is.
Okay, I'm Dr. Sherell Edwards, and a holistic healthcare practitioner is a general term for many different functions. Under the holistic healthcare umbrella, you'll see an acupuncturist. You might see you see a lot of health coaches. You see a lot of natural body experiences. You see a lot of people that do body massage. You see people that do healthcare counseling. You see people that a lot of them use the term spiritual healers. You see all types of functionalities up under the umbrella holistic healthcare. Specifically, I am a functional healthcare practitioner, and what that simply is I do assessments and lab testing to help people find the root cause of their disease. That's what I do. So I basically do it. I do assessments, meaning I take from an individual all the things that they report to me about their health, and then we do lab testing to compare that. So you have the subjective piece, and then you have the lab piece, which is the objective piece. And I bring those two together, and I offer information and recommendations what I find from those two.
Oh, you sound smart.
No, the lab testing is smart. I just know how to read. I just know how to read them.
Well, listen, isn't that's part of it right there, right? Knowing what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
So you know what to do. So, girl, you smart.
So that's what that I have an extensive on and off his work history with healthcare. Started off I ran a training program that actually was that we had the company had grants, and that program put people in put students into healthcare training. They were in training for nursing, they were in training for lab tech, they were in training for CNA, medical assistant, stuff like that. So that was my first experience, was running a training program that put people into training for healthcare jobs. And then after that, I became a contractor for my state's healthcare organization. And that program helped to pay for community-based services for different individuals. So I ran cost plan budgets. I hired vendors. I did healthcare assessments for those clients to submit, as a so that would be available as a part of an idea for their health, the piece that would go into their healthcare plan budget. And different things like that. So that's where my healthcare, my background started with that. And then it grew and it got closer and closer. Then I became a phlebotomist, and then I became a few other things, and that's what led to this career in healthcare. So it grew from the outside, and they brought me in.
Well, so what I'm hearing, and I hope that everybody else is hearing, is there is steps. You
Yeah.
have to take steps to get up to where you want to go, but always
Mhm.
having in mind where you want to go. I also
Absolutely.
saw that you run three or manage three LLCs. Tell us about those.
Yes, ma'am. I have three LLCs that I've opened at different phases in my life. My very first and oldest one, which is AGC Worldwide, that one started as a trucking business. I ran a trucking business where I ran owner operators across the United States, and then dispatching and loads and stuff like that. And then I got out of the trucking business and I went into the insurance business many years later, and I was an insurance auditor. And then that's what kind of opened the door with the insurance industry and stuff like that. And moved on and did, included a couple of things in that business. The second business is a wholesale business. That's an online business where I sell. That business is an authorized dealer for the largest toy company in the United States. So basically, we have an online a toy store, basically, and we
Yeah.
sell riding toys for that company.
Oh, wow.
And then the third business, of course, is my healthcare business, where I do the functional healthcare part, and offer lab testing and different things associated with that business.
I love it. So you're just well rounded. That's what I like about it. You're just well rounded. And I think that that's what we as women need to be. We need to be able to, just take what we enjoy
Mhm.
and make something out of it, you know?
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
one of the things that I know that we have been talking about, behind the scenes is we were just sharing how, so often people want to start
Hmm.
here. They don't want to
Hmm.
climb the ladder.
Hmm.
So I'm
Hmm.
curious to know that what was it that made you realize, okay, I need to do something different. I need to do something. I need to make something of me because yeah, what was it? What was that thing?
Probably started a long time ago when I was in college. I was back in the 90s. I was in college, and I've always had business in my blood. I always knew that was going to be a part of me. But you know how we are. We're young. We're just trying to hurry up and get through school. So then we take the shortcut route. So then I went the social services route. And I did okay. I met people and I learned some things there. But that just built to me, that wasted time and helped me build people skills. But in the back of who I am, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. So I just should have started off with a business degree and moved forward, but I didn't. So that's how we do. We dance around what it is that we really should be doing. But anyway, I got on track, got there, got the master's degree in business, and moved on. And that's where I've been ever since. And just having a business and being an entrepreneur is just a part of me. That's just part of my identity. That's who I am. So I have to say, um, you can, a lot of people start a business, they see their friends or they see people opening a business and they think it's great, like you say, for a platform or different things, but eventually you're going to get tired of that and it's not a part of you. And
That's
it's
true.
a lot of work here. I've worked way harder for myself than I ever have for anybody else. I'll tell anybody that it's way more, it's 2 to 3 times more work for yourself than it is going to be for somebody else. But who else would I rather work for?
That part.
Who else would I rather work for?
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm okay with working for me hard. Some people aren't, and I've had even people, you always working. I say, well, who are you working for?
How hard are you working for them?
Right. You working hard too, but who are you working for? Right. I'm working
Yes,
hard for me. I'm working hard for my legacy. I have some, some trust funds I want to build and some things I want to put in those trust funds. And so there's some objectives here. So at least I do know why I'm working hard and who I'm working for. So
that part. You
yeah.
said something a few minutes ago, though. You said that you realized that you was out of, how did you, I'm trying to remember because I was listening to other parts,
Sure.
but you were saying how, what would you tell a person who realizes that what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's going to school, whether they finish school, but they are working for someone else and that's
Mm-hmm.
just not who they are?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell them? How would you tell them that what they need to think about? How would you?
I start realigning. You have to start realigning your contacts, the people that you're around. If you know you're somewhere, you're not where you're supposed to be, start getting around the people that are where you're trying to get to. I had to start shifting my contacts. I had to start shifting my mind focus. I had to start opening myself up to when I got off work, I had to go to, then I started, I had to go and start doing some things to shift me over to where I was supposed to be.
Right.
So when I left my day job that paid bills, then I had to shift over, come home, get the kids situated, and then get and then do an hour or two towards what I was supposed to be doing. So every day was not, it was a while. There was some sacrifices made. I didn't come home and go straight to sleep or hang around and watch TV. A lot of that, a lot of things, extra stuff got cut out, and I made those sacrifices to start shifting my life over to where I was supposed to be.
That's very key because that
Mhm.
is the part that people don't want to do. They
Mhm.
don't want to make that sacrifice. People ask
Mhm.
me, I was talking to someone and I said, they asked me had I saw something on TV. I was like, I can count on one hand the times my TV has been on.
That's right.
So I totally understand. But what do you do
Mhm.
for that person who hasn't, really got to that point to where they realize and they understand that this is going to be a sacrifice? You
Mhm.
know, entrepreneurship is a sacrifice. What
I,
would you
I'm
say to them?
I know from my own experience this all, and now this is personal, but I know from my own experience it kept staring me in the face until I started doing something about it.
Mm,
It was just in me. It's something, when you're meant to build businesses and provide services to other people, there's just something in you. It's a part of you. That's not something you just gonna pick up and put down and pick. It's people that do that, but that's because it's really not a part of them. But when it's really a part of you, it's gonna keep staring you in the face until you do something about it. So
that's
I
true.
had to stop messing around. I like I say, I really made my full change after a divorce. I had young children. I had my kids were one was in the 12th grade, the oldest was in the 12th, the twins were in the first grade. So I was at some real pivotal times in my life. I was broke. I was working a full-time job, but I was broke. I didn't have much. But guess what? I said and I did the paperwork. I started moving towards what I wanted to do anyway, believing in faith that something was going to change. I messed around and opened my mouth one day, told somebody what I was trying to do. That person went on their lunch break, gave me the cash money to do what I needed to do, and that changed my life. That shifted me from ever then. So I've never been the same. That just showed me what faith can do. You might not have all the pieces and not understand how everything is going to get done, but if you take the steps toward, then the ways how you'll get things done will come about. And so
That's big. That's big.
that's what that did for me. And I've always, I walk on faith ever since. Sometimes I don't know how something is gonna get done, but when I shift towards that and I start preparing and doing my part, the other part comes about.
Wow. So so just like you just said, like sometimes you have people that believe in you before you can believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
And so what, you talked about how that was what really changed your life, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just curious, what other things have happened to where you was just like, man, this is really aligning? Because I really want to get into that cup and we want to talk about
Mhm.
that. But before we can get to what's coming out the cup, we need to know what's in the cup. And sometimes
That's
you need
right.
people putting stuff in your cup. What
That's
did it
right.
look like when people began to put stuff in your cup?
Man, yeah, it's unbelievable. You like, if I told somebody this, they are not gonna believe this. Some things you just end up keeping to yourself because you're like, I'm gonna waste time explaining. I'm just gonna wait. So I need to just keep moving on and keep moving forward because he gave it to me because he saw that I had the faith to believe. So you just
Mm.
keep on going to the next step, to the next step. You could have never told me that I would be a doctor doing and working in the healthcare field. You never could have told me that because I saw myself doing more things and doing some greater things, but it just wasn't defined until it got to that place. And when I look back, I say, wow, I've already been building up to this point. I just didn't realize what I was building up to. So sometimes you're divinely doing stuff and you don't really understand what it has a place in until you're already there and you have what you need. And so
Mm.
that's basically what it is. I was able to put together what I do without going to 8 or 10 years of medical school based on the experience I already had. I do already have healthcare experience, more or less in administration. But then when I got into the phlebotomy and the lab stuff, that opened the other door for the hands-on and the direction for my business. So
Yeah.
you just never could have told me that would have came together that way because I just didn't see it that way. But sometimes God has to keep your vision blurry until you get to a certain point.
That part. That part. And
Mhm.
you know, and that's big, like you just said. Sometimes it seems as if it's blurry, but it's not blurry
It's
to
not
God. He
blurry.
knows exactly where you're going. You
Wait, that's
and
it.
if we're honest with ourselves, if we knew where we was going, we would mess it up.
We would mess it up, absolutely. And I'm sure I would have. I would have got off the road. I would have stopped doing something. I would have got frustrated. And probably I did somewhere down the line, but apparently I stayed long enough to get what he had for me to get so that I could get on to the next step. And I'm telling you, just stay wherever God puts you at or pushes you into, just stay there. Don't despise the small beginnings. Don't despise some of the ways of road you'll go, and you'll be doing some great things, but people won't have respect for you. Do what you do to the best of your ability, because at the end of the day, that's your name you go to sleep with, and that's your name that you're going to carry on with. Always that I tell them, at the end of the day, it's my name I sleep with, and it's my name that I carry.
Come
So
on.
yeah, so don't never let nobody put anything on that's going to keep you from moving forward. Always be understand where you at and who you are and what you come when you come and when you go. So that's really the gist of it. But just keep going. Just keep don't get, hey, you will get distressed, you're gonna get tired. I have done all of that. But somewhere in there, it was enough juice to keep the train moving and keep on going. Now, you asked me about those 3 businesses. The way that I manage those 3 businesses is virtual assistants. That's how I run the 3 businesses. You cannot do all this stuff alone. A closed mouth, I had to learn the hard way. Pride will get you nowhere, and a closed mouth will not get you fed. Honey, sometimes you just got to open your mouth, and sometimes it's just an idea that you need. You don't necessarily, sometimes we think we need somebody's hands on or $5. Sometimes that ain't really what you need. Sometimes it's a resource already sitting out there waiting on you to take advantage of. And that's what happened in my case. I didn't need somebody else's money, I needed their knowledge. And when I opened my mouth, that knowledge saved me. That knowledge moved me up to the next step. So that if you're gonna do anything in business, you're gonna need some help. Open your mouth. You'll be surprised the resources. Some it's not many times we think it's got to come through money. No, everything don't have to come through money. There'll be resources out there, or people that know of resources that can help you and get you on your way. And sometimes that might take an extra day or two, but better a day or two than years or
Then
months,
years.
going without. So it is what it is. But yeah, open your mouth. Open your mouth. I tell anybody. And that was the hardest thing for me to do because I come from a situation where people say they want to help you when they really just want to talk about what you're doing. They just want to run their mouth. They weren't trying to help you. But what I learned is people that really want to help you, they are in action. They not in work. They not in talk. That's what I got out of what that person did for me with that money. I had to do a training when I first started, and I left. I told you, person went and got me. They went and got me 5 $100 bills for a training I had to go to out of town. I did not have the money. They went and got that, and that's what helped me get on my way. All the arrangements and stuff I had to figure out and make on my own, but somehow I made them because I had people in place. I knew people. You have to know how to network and talk to people. If you tell people what you need, they'll trust me, and they know you mean what you mean well, and you do honor your word. People will help you with no problem.
That's true. So let's talk about that, because here's the thing. That's usually what's in our cup. We have everything we need inside of our cup.
Inside our
we
cup.
don't even know what's in our cup.
Nope.
And so the question is, how do you figure out, because there was two things that were said. How do you figure out what you need? And how do you figure out who to ask? Because here's the thing. Sometimes we ask the wrong people.
There you go. You can't ask somebody who's never been where you're trying to go. You can't ask that group. That's not the group. And many times it might even be a group of people that, hey, ordinarily they might not help you, but just because y'all in the same arena deal, you'd be surprised the information that people offer just because they like to be the person in the know. And that's great too. If you benefit, you benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. What is it they say, when you're sitting at the table with successful people, the conversation is different.
Very much so.
So my thing would be, if the conversation is the same and everybody's talking about the same thing, we might need to look at what's in our cup and who's around us.
We're at the wrong table. I can tell you from experience, you're at the wrong table. I'm always trying to be at a table where they know 3 times more than I do. I'm always trying to be at one of them tables. Always.
Yes.
Always.
What do they say? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Wrong room.
When you find yourself and you are sitting at the table and you're sitting at the table with people that don't want to do anything, what do you do?
You'll find you another location. And then what happens too, sometimes you become a teacher. You become a knowledge base, you become a teacher. And that's okay to serve sometime, but notice, always have your ear to the opportunity where you're going to grow. So it's okay to say, it's okay to give and serve sometime information, or it's always because I've landed in a few situations like that where they were supposed to be beneficial, but I actually end up being a teacher. You actually end up being a teacher, or helping, some things move along, or helping some things grow. And that's okay. I'm always of service because, like I said, my name comes with me and it leaves with me. So I'm going to try to operate in the spirit of excellence. So I'm going to get out the way and let somebody else take that spot.
Right. So, but sometimes, let's be real. Sometimes we as women, especially those of us that we think we have arrived, we think we know everything, we got all the answers. And it's hard to ask. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to receive help sometimes. And, how do you, or have there been a situation where it was hard for you to receive help?
Oh, absolutely. You know that, absolutely. There have been situations where I've been connected to, and they've offered some stuff, but like you said, the spirit of giving was so. My grandmother used to have a saying, it's hard to eat unwelcome bread. It's hard to eat unwelcome bread. In other words, the swallow ain't gonna be so easy. It's gonna be like you smoking a choke ball. Eat the candy and choke on and get stuck in. It's like choke ball when you receiving something and it's not given in a kind spirit. So it's hard to eat unwelcome bread. But
I like that.
Yeah. So but at the same time, we take like she always used to say too, take the meat and leave the bones. So you might take the information, you might not receive it there. You take the information and you might go somewhere else where it's given in a better spirit, where they want to give it to you, and go from there. But at least you have the knowledge you need to go on.
Yes. And that's the thing though. A lot of times we don't want that though. A lot of times we was talking about this earlier, sometimes we have a lot of people that come and they're looking for something for nothing. They're constantly looking for something for nothing, and they're looking not only for that bone or that meat. They want you to take the meat off the bone and feed it to them.
That's
And so,
that's
how
why.
do you deal with situations like that? Because as you are, like you said, I mean, you're wearing many hats and you have a full cup. And this is the good thing about it. And
Mhm.
for those of you that are listening with us, one thing I can say about Dr. She is her cup is full, but she gives from her abundance. She's not
Over.
giving from what she needs for herself.
That's right.
And
Overflow.
so I wanted to know, like, how do you deal with those individuals that are just coming to like leech off of you? What do you say to the women that's to the group that's listening now? How do you deal with those individuals that are coming in and wanting something for nothing when you have so much that you want to give?
I only give what God tells me to give. Honestly, I have learned to narrow it down. What He has me to give, I give. That He doesn't have me to give, I don't worry about. That means that's not my assignment, and I can easily walk away from what I'm not supposed to be a part of. That's our thing. We have this need to give in places that's one not receptive of us. They really not going to appreciate you anyway. And like we said, they're going to want you to do all the work. I always let people know I come. I am a teacher of fishermen. I can teach you what to do. I can't give you the skill set. I can teach you a skill set.
Yeah.
If you're not in that frame of mind, then I'm probably not the person for you. And so I give that preamble up front. So that way, if they want to exit or leave, that's their cue.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's good.
That's
So
their cue.
how do you? So that's good because somebody out there needed to hear that and
Mm-hmm.
needed to hear that it's okay for
Mm-hmm.
you not to give just because somebody asked.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't have to. So
Mm-hmm.
but if you find yourself in that situation, I'm trying to get back over here to the comments, but if you find someone that is constantly pulling off of you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not reciprocated, how do you deal with that?
Everything has to be put in its place. You limit your time and your resources only to stuff that's conducive to what God has you doing. If He don't have you doing that, you're in the wrong place anyway. And that's usually where you find leeches, when we're in spots that we ain't got no business. So that's usually a sign that we ain't in the right place anytime. Because when I'm in the right places, I found when I'm in the right places, it's just not. It just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like a leechy situation. It doesn't feel like a needy situation. We all can come and go, and it's a spirit of ease and a spirit of peace. And you want to come in and you want to chip in and you want to give sometime, because it's just that type of environment. But where is that type of environment where things just not reciprocal? That's what we call a reciprocal, where it's a give and take type deal,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and people just want to receive all the time. We're not in the right environment. We're not dealing with the right people. I start praying, Lord, shift me to where I'm supposed to shift me to the people that's like that's reciprocal in relationship. And that's always a part of my prayer. I want to be in places where it's reciprocal in relationship. So that's what I look for, and that's what I always pray for, and that's what He started shifting me towards.
Yeah. So how do you deal with when he is shifting you
Mm-hmm.
and you want to stay in that spot because there's some people that this is
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. This
Mm-hmm.
is where I want to be. And how do you deal with when he is shifting you and he's saying, okay, it's time to get that out of your cup. That is not, I did not put that in your cup.
I didn't
You
put
put
it
that
there.
in your cup.
He gonna get your attention. It's gonna be real uncomfortable. Let me tell you, coming out of a situation that's uncomfortable right now, professionally, because I wanted to stay in the back. I wanted to hide behind the veil. I want to sit behind the curtain, and that's not where He has me. He has me doing more of this stuff right here, talking with audiences and doing more stuff. So I had to put away my line. I call it the liner's blanket. I had to put away my blanket and do what I had to do, because it got real uncomfortable trying to it got real uncomfortable trying to be comfortable. How about that?
Mm,
So
mm,
you will feel the difference. He'll turn the heat up on you when you're in a spot, or when you're a place you trying to hang on for dear life because it's comfortable, and that's not where the blessing is. You will feel the difference. Things start leaving, dropping off, and moving away. So
yeah.
that means you better start leaving, moving, and moving,
Yes.
because that's not where you're supposed to be.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
the time.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard someone say that God is the only person that will fire you and let you keep on working.
amen.
And
Yes, ma'am.
and so sometimes we are in situations And
Mm-hmm.
we don't supposed to be there. And we think that we're doing stuff, and we're doing nothing.
We
We're
ain't
not
doing
making
nothing.
any kind of impact. We're not doing anything.
That's
So
it.
when you have someone and you know that someone, or you find yourself, because let's be real, I know I have been in that situation where I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I ain't done nothing. That I ain't moved nobody. I ain't helped nobody.
I am nobody.
Yeah. So I ain't even help myself. So what do you
Right.
do to the people out there that they find themselves in that kind of environment, in that kind of situation, and
Mm-hmm.
they realize that they are not making an impact? They're not walking in their purpose. They're not living their life. What would you tell them? How would you tell them to move forward?
I always ask my God in prayer, where am I supposed to be? Obviously, I'm not in the right place. Help me start shifting and moving to the places that I'm supposed to be. One thing I do know about him, you will get the sign. You'll know when it's the wrong place because it won't feel so good. So if you're in a place and you're not feeling any resistance, you on to something. I ain't gonna say you at the place, but you definitely on to something. You heading to where you're supposed to be, or at least you are on the way. But when
Mhm.
you can tell when things not going so well when you in the wrong place. So
That's
that's
good.
definitely it. So use that as the signs. If you need signs, some people need signs, need physical triggers or signs. You'll know when you're in the wrong place. It ain't gonna feel too great. You
That's right.
so when you're moving and you're making some progress, it's gonna feel like a peace. It's gonna some ease is gonna start to come. Some things are gonna start the envelope and come open. Those are the signs that you're headed towards the right way. At least you're on the right road, and you headed. And if you're on the wrong road, if you're moving, he'll bump you to the right place.
That's
I've
right.
had that happen.
That's
Sometimes I've
right.
been on the wrong road, and he bumped me to the right place.
That's right. Because what does it say? It says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord.
By
So
the
you
Lord.
can't order something that's not moving, right?
Can't do nothing with a parked car. That's it. He
Nothing.
can't do nothing with a parked car. The car
Nothing.
has to be moving. And even if
Nothing.
you're driving the wrong road, he'll get you to the right road if you're moving. But if
So
you
that
fall,
kind of brings us into one of the things that I'm excited to share with the people is your second book.
okay.
You talked about it is called um, When the Prophet and the Master Place Collide. Tell me about that because I was just like, oh, child.
Yeah, the profit and the marketplace collide. That is really about business, small business, how to start a business, how to move in business, how to do things in business, and find your way spiritually. You're like, I'm supposed to be here, but what am I supposed to do? What's my place? Or you know what? But it's a small book. It's probably 26 pages, but it tells you about building your business. And that's really what it is. It's just the conceptual way of building your business, knowing about having foundation, where to start, having teams, what to have in place, stuff like that. That's what it is about the foundations of business. So
Well,
small business.
I'm excited. And for those of y'all that are listening, Dr. She is going to bless us. And she is allowing us to get this book for $3.99 today. If you will get it, I will make sure that the link is posted. And it's one of those things. I mean, I love Dr. She because she's one of those people that she's constantly giving, giving, giving. But as you just heard, you give to the right people. Some people
Mhm.
are lynches, and you have to know your place. And so
Mhm.
I'm excited just to be in your presence and to be a part of your life because I believe we talked about this that God gives us God breaths. He breathes
Mhm.
on us and he
Mhm.
blows us into the right places. And
Mhm.
I'm excited. But before we leave, I want to ask you, of course, the two questions that we always ask in the SheShed.
Sure.
And I guess the first, I will start this way with you. If
Okay.
you could go back to that person that was sitting there, that was being handed that $500 from that angel, that's what we'll
Mhm.
call him, an angel.
Mhm. Mhm.
What would you tell yourself then? Because I don't want to put no words up, but what would you tell yourself then, knowing what you know now?
Girl, this finna change your life. Cause it did. It did. It gave me hope. It did. It changed the trajectory of my life. It did. And that's probably what I would have said. Girl, this is changing your life. This is shifting you to where you're supposed to be. And
Okay,
that's what
so
it
let's
did.
go back a date. Let's go back a week before that. A week before that time, what would you say to that person?
Oh my Lord. There's a lot of paperwork involved. I'm broke. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Oh goodness. What I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing because it's just I ain't got the money to do it. So I don't know what I'm even doing this for.
But what would you tell her to get her through?
Keep on going, girl. You don't know where your help gonna come from. Keep going.
Yes, I love it. I love
Keep
it.
going.
So the other question I always ask, we always talk about being a boss.
Mm-hmm.
What is being a boss to you?
Whew. So many things. I at the end of the day, no matter what I've put my hands to, I like to know that I've done people a good service. People don't have to patronize you by your services, do business with you. Most of the time people do business because they get something from you. It's you that people get something from. They normally people do business with folks that they know. But if anything, I want to have whatever service I provided or whatever product you purchased from me, I want it to be a good experience. And that's what I always want to leave people with, the best experience that I can. I'm not saying that from time to time, maybe it's something to happen, hiccup or something like that. But even that, I want that to be done in a spirit of excellence, in a way that I would treat somebody and that I would want somebody to have treated me. So
That's good.
I want to leave the good a spirit of excellence and a spirit of goodness with people when they do when they transact or do business or whatever it is they do with me.
I love it. I love it. And I love you.
I love
That is
you
why
too.
you have a such a servant heart, and I love that about you. And I feel like that is why you are as blessed as you are. It's because you have this desire to want people to succeed, and I just
Mhm.
appreciate you, and
Mhm.
I appreciate you being in my life. I really do.
And I
Um,
appreciate you as well. I thank you for sharing your space with me. This is such an awesome space. I don't see how people, they attach to stuff like this and they don't feel blessed, because there's not a lot of people out here offering an opportunity, for people to share with people. They really want to be heard, but here is the great opportunity, and you have a wonderful audience, and you're such a giver of yourself. The givers attract givers. So that's how we're connected, because we're givers. We give and we do it without thinking about it. And that's probably what attracted us. I'm almost sure. But I mean, this is such an awesome platform. You should be very proud. You're doing what most people are trying to get this stuff going. You're doing it. And I love it. And it's giving and it's loving and it's a wonderful platform.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk to the crew for a moment. So hold on for me, Dr. She. All right, ladies. So y'all heard it firsthand in the SheShed. Dr. She said, stop giving so much of yourself. That's what I took from that. Stop giving so much of yourself to the wrong people. Give it to the people that can appreciate it. Give it to the people that God ordained you to give it to. And when you do that, you are in return going to be blessed because of it. You're going to have all the things that you want in life because, as she said, givers attracts givers. So remember, you are the CEO of your own life. You are the boss. And as the boss, you have to be bold, optimistic, strategic, and self-reliant. And girl, while you doing it, I need you to realize and understand you get a chance to promote and demote and terminate anything or anyone that is no longer serving you. So instead of sitting and wondering, why is this happening to me?